News hounds are off on vacation this week, unfortunately, with Mark not sipping martinis, but they still tipped us off on a few stories.
That's right. They are in Aruba today, by the way, those lucky ducks. Like this story that we found out of Colorado. The Colorado Parks and Wildlife shared a video of two unlikely friends, a bulk elk and a German shepherd. They were caught playing and chasing each other back and forth in the backyard on opposite sides of a fence. Park rangers say this has been going on for years between these two, and they seem to be best friends.
And they get a little exercise in the meantime. And then a newborn white rhino seems to be enjoying life at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park. The baby girl is named Future, and she loves to roll around in the mud. Zookeepers say rhinos naturally wallow in the mud to protect themselves from insects and the sun. And Future is the 100th southern white rhino to be born at the park.
1 week down, 1 week to go, Danica.
You know it.
Thank you for your help.
Of course.
News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.
Right now, an investigation is underway into who put cameras in Madison students' hotel rooms during a trip. We'll have the latest.
The House Judiciary Committee has approved 2 articles of impeachment against President Trump. We'll have reaction from Washington.
And the Badger volleyball team looking to make it to the Elite Eight. We'll have an update from the field house.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 5.
Thanks for staying with us. Police are still working to figure out who put cameras in Madison students' hotel rooms on a trip.
A staff member has been put on leave. Our Amy Reed sat down with the superintendent today to learn what they're doing for families while this investigation continues. Amy?
This happened at a school trip in Minneapolis, but part of the investigation is going on here. These were East High School students, while in the cities, some found cameras in their hotel rooms. Here in Wisconsin, we confirmed through Cottage Grove Police they executed a search warrant for a home in the village of Cottage Grove just yesterday. Isthmus is reporting police also searched the school. Interim Superintendent Jane Belmore said this is hard for students and parents, and they're giving strong support during this time.
We just hate that this happened as well. I mean, we're very, very concerned about it. Would wish it never happened. But unfortunately, when things like this do happen, we do have a lot of strong protocols around our field trip policies and how those things get approved.
Belmore said the district has put additional staff at the school to support the students. Also, the district said that staff member was put on leave as a precaution. With this being an active investigation, police can't release a lot of information, but we'll continue to update you as we learn more.
Amy, thank you.
The district is also saying it will be reviewing its current policies following an incident at Jefferson Middle School where one student shot another with a BB gun. Today, Superintendent Belmore wouldn't comment on information reported only on News 3 Now that the student involved had 25 prior incidents, including one where they said they would shoot up the school. But she did say after all incidents, the district double checks its policy for response and discipline to make sure it's working. She said this case would be no different.
The woman accused of beating a Madison teacher is out on a $500 signature bond tonight. LaCandace Walker is officially charged with battery to a school employee and disorderly conduct. According to a criminal complaint just out today, Walker has a student at Orchard Ridge Elementary School with special needs and behavior problems. She allegedly came to the school very upset. One of the teachers told police Walker grabbed her by the hair, punched her in the face, and threw her to the ground in the front office. Walker allegedly continued punching and kicking her as she was curled up on the floor. Walker is scheduled to be back in court at the end of the month.
Village of Oregon police looking for an armed robbery suspect. They say it happened just before 2 this afternoon at the BMO Harris Bank in Oregon. Witnesses say the suspect showed a firearm and asked for money from the bank teller. Anyone with information is asked to call the Oregon Police Department.
Officials have released the names of the 3 officers involved in a shooting death in Rock County on Tuesday. Patrol Officer John McMahon, Sergeant Ryan Flanagan, and Detective Nathan Adams fired at 23-year-old Monte Penning. Each officer has at least 14 years experience. Police say Penning was spotted driving a stolen car Tuesday. Following a short chase, Penning was shot and killed by the 3 officers. The Division of Criminal Investigation is leading the investigation into the officer-involved death.
Janesville police have 3 people in custody in relation to a home break-in on Sharon Street. that was caught on surveillance camera earlier this week. Police say Reno Tom, Hunter Hanko, and Savannah Newland were arrested for charges ranging from burglary, theft, and party to a crime. Police say they received tips identifying the suspects 20 minutes after the department posted that video on Facebook. All three suspects are currently being held in the Rock County Jail and are awaiting initial court appearances. Possible flurries along with freezing drizzle could make for a few slippery spots out there tonight. Your first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti. Gary?
Yeah, it's going to be one of those wait-and-see situations. Temperatures have dropped just below freezing here in Madison. There are some areas of fog as well that could complicate things. But as we take a look at Doppler track right now, you can see a band of light snow showers or flurries pushing through southern Wisconsin, mostly pretty quickly. Not expecting any accumulation from that. But visibilities are dropping and some light fog and also that light snow, especially west of Camp Douglas over toward Black River Falls. Visibility down to 1.5 miles there. Temperatures are just below freezing here in Madison, just above freezing to our south and east, and mainly in the 20s to our north and west. By tomorrow morning, temperatures will be in the middle 20s. Look for highs to only reach the upper 20s tomorrow before falling off in the afternoon. Later on, I'll take a look at a quiet but cold forecast for the start of next week.
Thank you, Gary. Early this morning, black ice caused a crash on County Highways Q and K in Middleton. Madison police sent out a tweet warning drivers to be careful. Officials with the Madison Streets Division said they sent out salt trucks to help. They say cold temperatures plus misty conditions made for icy areas, especially on bridges and overpasses where pavement temperatures are colder than other roadway surfaces.
A week after an attorney went missing following a night out with friends in Atlanta, police say they are still looking for him. Demetris Allen, who is a UW Whitewater graduate, has not been seen since December 6th when he met up with friends at a bar in the East Atlanta Village. That night, he texted his friend and said he was going to a fast food restaurant and then heading home. His friends texted him again the next day, but they never heard back. Officers say Allen and his BMW are missing. Police are looking for tips and are monitoring Allen's phone and bank accounts.
The Dane County Sheriff's Office says they now have an AWOL inmate in custody. Rondino Fleming walked away from the Ferris Center in November. He was serving a 25-week sentence with Huber work release for battery. Deputies say today Fleming was apprehended without incident.
A Wisconsin judge has ordered that the voter registrations of up to 234,000 voters be tossed because they may have moved. It's a victory for conservatives that could make it more difficult for people to vote next year in this key swing state. The judge sided with 3 voters represented by a conservative law firm who argued the State Elections Commission should have immediately deactivated any of the roughly 234,000 voters who did not respond to an October mailing within 30 days. President Trump could be just days away from making history. 2 articles of impeachment were voted out of the Judiciary Committee today and are headed to a vote on the full House floor. The president's team appears to be gearing up for a trial in the Senate. The president's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, was at the White House this morning, shortly after the House Judiciary Committee voted on party lines to send 2 impeachment charges to the House floor. The first for abuse of power and the second for obstruction of Congress.
If we let the president get away with this misconduct, it means that every president for all time will be able to bring foreign powers into our elections.
I'm coordinating with White House counsel. There will be no difference between the president's position and our position as to how to handle this.
The full House vote to impeach the president could take place as early as next Wednesday. President Trump has said he wants to call witnesses in the trial, but Republicans are split on whether that's a good idea.
The governor touring a new state-of-the-art training school in Sun Prairie today, built by union workers themselves out of their own paychecks. Sheet Metal Workers Union Local 18 partnered with area union sheet metal contractors. They voted 2 years ago to build this training center, taking $1 an hour off their own wages to help pay for it. Today, they showed off their new facility to the governor.
Basically, what we have to make sure is young people understand what great jobs are available in the trades, all trades in the state of Wisconsin. There's lots of good projects going on. Clearly, the people that come into this program are going to be highly skilled and highly sought after.
That Sun Prairie facility will train future workers from Dane, Columbia, Sauk, Rock, Greene, Isle, and Lafayette counties. They currently have 100 apprentices in the Madison and Janesville areas who will use it. After 4 decades of service, the city of Middleton celebrates its police chief. Today, the city officially calling today Chuck Folk Day. It's in honor of the police chief who is retiring after almost 40 years of service. Chief Folk started as an intern at the Middleton Police Department back in the summer of 1980. Since then, he's moved up the ranks, serving as captain, lieutenant, detective, sergeant, school resource officer, patrol officer, and even dispatcher. He says he's going to miss the community he helps protect.
I love working here. It's a great city to work for. I love the men and women in this organization. And as I said, the community outreach that we have done has just been returned. So working with those people in our community and having that positive interactions with them is something that I'll miss.
He notified the city council of his intent to step down over the summer so it would have time to find a replacement, and the council hopes to have a new chief in place by January.
Ground has officially been broken on a residential community in New Glarus built to give individuals with special needs independence. A group of parents who were concerned about the futures of their children with developmental and other disabilities built the nonprofit Home of Our Own and made it their mission to build a complex where people with disabilities could live independently alongside others. The 40-unit development will have 10 units set aside for people with disabilities. The others will be available for anyone else looking for affordable housing. The organization says places like this don't exist outside of big cities. The only options are to live with your parents or in a group home.
It's going to provide the same thing that anybody else wants in life and that anybody else deserves, and that's the ability to be independent, to not have to live with mom and dad when they're still in their late 20s and 30s and 40s. And also, let's face it, mom and dad aren't going to be around forever.
Marianne Omican is hopeful her 26-year-old daughter with disabilities will be able to move in when the complex is done about a year from now.
Anyone looking to fly to our nation's capital has another nonstop option out of Madison. Officials at Dane County Regional announced today United Airlines will offer 2 flights a day to Dulles International Airport in D.C. That's on top of the routes already going from Madison to Reagan National. Dulles, one of the country's biggest airports with connections to more than 30 international destinations. Those new flights start in May of 2020, but you can start booking your flight on United's website beginning tomorrow.
The Badger volleyball team is headed to the Elite 8. The number 4 Badgers swept number 13 Texas A&M today at the Fieldhouse. A trio of Badgers, Molly Haggerty, Grace Loberg, and Dana Retke, finished the day with double-digit kills. The Badgers will take on the winner of the Nebraska versus Hawaii. The Huskers lead that one right now. We're trying to keep an eye on that one for you. The Elite 8 game will be played at the Fieldhouse tomorrow at 5 o'clock. That'll be exciting.
Yeah, Nebraska has won the first 2 games, so it might be the Huskers again. All right, it's Bears week at Lambeau Field. The Packers need to get the stadium ready for Sunday's game against Chicago. Dozens were inside Lambeau Field today, shoveling out all that snow. The 200th meeting between the Packers and Bears will kick off noon Sunday at Lambeau Field. Unity Point Health Meritor has announced the top baby names at the hospital this year. For the girls, Charlotte was the most popular, along with Madeline, Evelyn, Olivia, and Claire. For the boys, it was Jackson, and then Oliver, Theodore, Lucas, and Henry. More than 4,500 babies have been born at Meritor so far this year. The top names at SSM Health St. Mary's were announced earlier this week, with Owen and Grace being the most popular. More to come on News 3 Now at 5. A gardening staple in Cottage Grove will close on Christmas Eve. We'll tell you why the owner is suddenly closing up shop.
And coming up tonight at 6, the Boys and Girls Club is sponsoring a shopping trip for a single father who goes above and beyond for his children. We'll share his story coming up at 6.
And on Wall Street, the week closing with little movement. The Dow up 3 1/3. The Nasdaq had 17.5, and the S&P gained a 1/4 point. We'll be right back. A popular flower shop in Cottage Grove will be closing on Christmas Eve.
America's Best Flowers has helped bring joy and has given life to the community. Jamie Perez is here to share the heartbreaking story of why the owner decided to suddenly close up shop. Jamie.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. The store has been around since the 90s, and I could tell just from being there today that they will be sorely missed. It was a gardening staple in that community, and the owner told me today that it's much more than the flowers that she's having a hard time letting go of.
Inside of America's Best Flowers, you can find almost anything you need to start a garden.
Well, it started out with, I believe, 1 or 2 greenhouses. So we gradually expanded to 5 and 6.
Carol Napton and her husband Ed started this life together.
He wanted to bring joy to people.
They've been going strong ever since.
It's been amazing. 49 years for our marriage, but about 41 years for the business. It's a lot of work.
It started when the seed was first planted in Ed's heart.
He did come from a farming background, and he loved horticulture, so he got a degree in horticulture at the university. And then he wanted to run his own business.
And Carol has been along for the ride ever since.
We started with actually a pick-your-own fruit and vegetable business that evolved into growing flowers and a garden center business. So.
But their business that has blossomed and grown over the years is coming to an end after life planted a different seed in their garden.
Once they managed his pain, I told him it's okay, go ahead, I'm gonna be okay. And then he passed.
Ed had stage 4 prostate cancer. He died November 6th. The work here has been too much for Carol to handle on her own.
He had certain areas that he was good at. I had certain areas I was good at. But once that disappeared, I just wasn't able to do it myself.
The memories she said she's made will live in her garden forever, and she'll spend her final days here cherishing everything she and her husband built together.
I can't tell you. In my heart, I miss everything. He was my soulmate. I'll probably miss him the rest of my life.
They need to sell everything that's left there within the next 11 days. Most of the items there right now are 50% off, so their last day open will be on Christmas Eve.
It is a sad story. I know, places like that are such a staple in their communities. Big loss for that community, and we wish her the best as she deals with her loss as well. Jamie, thank you.
Thanks, Jamie. Well, let's get a first look at the weather now. Gary is here with the forecast, and there's a little snow on the radar, right, Gary?
Yeah, a little snow, mostly flurries. The surface reports indicate that it's not coming down very hard, but there also could be some freezing drizzle mixed in there as well. In fact, we zoom into southern Wisconsin on high-resolution radar, you can see the best chances for any more significant snow will be up toward Camp Douglas and moving through Juneau and Adams counties north of Wisconsin Dells. Right now, temperatures are just below freezing here in Madison, definitely below freezing to the north and west, where temperatures are in the 20s. To the south and east of Madison, temperatures are still around or just slightly above freezing. Janesville still at 36 degrees. Visibilities are also dropping off a little bit. There's also some areas of fog that are starting to form, and that and some freezing drizzle and flurries will be a possibility for tonight. So just a slight chance of a few flurries or a little patchy freezing drizzle continuing into tomorrow. But the main message for the weekend is that it'll turn colder with falling temperatures tomorrow and highs only in the lower 20s for Sunday. For next week, though, the weather looks very quiet, not only for next week, but through the next weekend and into the days just before the Christmas holiday. In fact, you look at the 10-day temperature spread, and we'll see slightly below normal temperatures for the next few days, but then go slightly above normal as we head toward the latter part of next week and into the following weekend. I showed you a map like this yesterday. Future track snowfall potential through the early part of next week. Right now, that's all that's expected. So, and that's just mainly in the form of some flurries. The 6 to 10-day temperature outlook calling for above normal temperatures for most of the western 3/4 of the country, with only the far eastern part of the country expecting below normal temperatures, about a 60% chance of above normal temperatures here, and precipitation expected to be below normal. So again, this takes us to right before Christmas. That's not a good sign if you're looking for snow. Above normal temperatures, below normal precipitation. The western part of the country will become more active as a couple of storm systems head out there. And even the 8 to 14-day temperature outlook still calling for above normal temperatures as we progress through the Christmas holiday. And precipitation chances start to come up a little bit, especially to our south and west as those west coast storms start moving inland. Otherwise, live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison, just cloudy out there right now. High today 34, the low 26. 27, and right now we're sitting at 31 degrees. Skies are mostly cloudy, winds out of the south-southeast at 5. That gives us a wind chill of 26 degrees. Temperatures are colder to the north and west. There's actually a cold front that'll be pushing in from the north and west and cause our temperatures to start falling during the day tomorrow. So look for mostly cloudy skies tonight, some areas of fog, some patchy freezing drizzle or some flurries. Low temperature dropping to 25 by morning with light and variable winds. For tomorrow, temperatures only go up a couple of degrees to 28 and then start falling again. There's just an outside chance we could see a few flurries or a little patchy freezing drizzle during the day. Future track, lots of clouds tonight. Again, some flurries, some freezing drizzle, low temperatures mid-20s. Highs tomorrow, upper 20s early and then falling temperatures during the day. Tomorrow night we'll start to see some breaks in the clouds. That will allow temperatures to drop into the lower teens. And Sunday will be a colder day with high temperatures only in the lower 20s, even though we'll have partly sunny skies. On Monday, a weather system will pass to our south, perhaps cold enough to give us an afternoon flurry. Otherwise, very quiet weather for next week. Maybe a couple of flurries, a little patchy freezing drizzle on Friday. And then the next weekend, temperatures lower 30s and upper 30s expected on the Monday before the Christmas holiday. As we take a look at first alert traffic right now, it's a Friday and there's the Beltline. Actually, traffic moving not too badly in both directions. I mean, it's a little slow, but no major delays. Right now, we're seeing delays in the eastbound direction from about Monona Drive to Park Street, westbound from around Fish Hatchery Road to John Nolan Drive. As far as traffic times are concerned right now, 21 minutes on the eastbound Beltline from University Avenue to the interstate, 23 minutes going back in the westbound direction. If you're heading out of Madison, it's 25 minutes to Janesville on I-3990 from the Beltline southward, 17 minutes to Sauk City on US 12, and 17 minutes to Sun Prairie on East Washington Avenue, US 151. That's your News 3 Now First Alert traffic.
Thank you, Gary.
And ahead on News 3 Now at 5, where there is a rise in people visiting the emergency room with heart problems during this time of the year. That's next. And this just in for the Channel 3000 Alert Center. Iowa County deputies are asking people to avoid Jamie Street in Dodgeville due to some law enforcement action there. They're asking residents in that area to stay indoors. Again, in Jamie Street in Dodgeville, a developing story. We'll have the latest on our website and in future newscasts. Also check channel3000.com. Overindulging during the festive holiday season isn't just bad for your waistline. It can, of course, also be bad for your heart.
Meredith Wood explains why there seems to be a rise in those visiting the emergency room with heart problems during this time of the year.
Holiday heart syndrome. It sounds like something brought on by missing family and friends this time of year, but it actually has to do with your diet. The holiday season is known for enticing even the strictest eater to indulge. Buffets, festive sugary treats, and endless amounts of alcohol are around every corner. And doctors say that can be trouble for your heart. Holiday heart syndrome was coined back in 1978 to describe the dramatic increase in patients going to the emergency room complaining of irregular heart rhythms during the holidays. Atrial fibrillation, or AFib, is a racing or irregular heartbeat. The fluttering feeling often comes with other symptoms like lightheadedness or shortness of breath. Cardiac specialists believe excessive alcohol consumption this time of year can increase the risk of AFib. Add to that salty, fatty foods, holiday stress, and not enough sleep, it can become the perfect storm. But don't feel like you can't enjoy the party atmosphere. Experts say taking simple steps will help you avoid holiday heart syndrome. Be conscious of how much alcohol you're drinking and make sure you stay hydrated. Limit salty snacks, keep up with your exercise and sleep routines. These things will help you enjoy a safe and happy holiday season. For today's Health Minute, I'm Meredith Wood.
Let's stay with us. We'll have another check of your forecast in just a moment.
Some light flurries out there tonight.
Some flurries, maybe a little patchy freezing drizzle as well. It's barely showing up on radar, and it's moving through pretty quickly right now. Visibility is dropping off a little bit to the west. There could be some fog in there as well. But temperatures are dropping below freezing from Madison to the north and west, so that's where the greatest chances for any slippery road conditions will be tonight. Otherwise, look for colder weather this weekend, but quiet weather for most of next week and into the following weekend as well.
All right, Gary, thank you. Thanks for joining us. We're back in 30 minutes with more updates. Stay tuned now for the CBS Evening News.